Hello, Home Slices. This is Kiara with Home Slice Adulting coming to you with my review for the 20th episode of Season 1 of Love and Marriage Huntsville, which just so happens to be the reunion episode. We have been on a roller coaster with these three couples over the past year, and we want to see where things have ended up. So, I'm excited to review this. I feel like a lot of things are going to come out. I feel like nothing is going to be resolved, and it's going to be a great cliffhanger for season 2. I think that this is the most poppin' show on OWN right now. I think that the things that are going on in their life are drama filled enough to keep us hanging on the seat. And because they're still new at this reality TV show thing, it's not jaded. It doesn't come across as scripted. And it feels like a breath of fresh air. Real people, real marriages, real relationships, real problems. The show just, for the most part, is real, you know. So anyways, thanks for clicking on this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with someone who you think will enjoy it. So, just to get started, we see that they're doing these pre-reunion conversations with each of the couples kind of individually, and a number of feelings come up. A lot of them have a lot of pre-reunion jitters. Marcel's, policy with the reunion. He claims that Mel and Tisha seem to be, these crabs in a bucket that are willing to do anything to drag each other to the bottom. Don't know where that came from, but he feels like he's not a part of that committee. He doesn't want to do that. All of the people are nervous. Carlos King is cute, okay? I hear a lot of things about Carlos, don't know much about his personality or how scandalous he is or whatnot, but Carlos is doing a great job producing this show. He gives them some insight as to what's going to happen. Marceau's not stepmom, mother-in-law is in the building, so that's happening. Apparently some stuff happened with Tisha and Mel since we saw them like trying to put the pieces back together during the previous episode. So Tisha says the ball is in Mel's court, whatever. So um what's her name? Kimmy still has a chip on her shoulder because of some of the stuff that Kai was said on the TV. So we'll see how it goes. All right, y'all, before we get into the meat and potatoes, like I, like to say, of what's going on in the actual reunion, let's talk about the fashion, okay? I think that Martell and Melody Holt are the worst dressed of the couples. I don't care for Mel's wig. It's horrific. She needs something about the shape of her face needs a short haircut. I think that the long hair washes her out. I don't even know if that makes sense. Whatever. Anyways, I don't like the color on her skin tone. It doesn't really pop on her. Martell is stylish. You know what? Martell looks nice, okay? I'll say Mel is the worst dressed person on the panel right now, but I think Marceau was the least adventurous. His suit looks like he went to a business meeting. Like, this is how he dresses every day for work. So he doesn't look as fashionable as everybody else. I think that Tisha and Kimmy's dresses are very beautiful. Kimmy, I think, has the best dress, just for, my preferences. And I think that Martell and Maurice dressed well for the, as far as the style factor goes. Y'all, the host is Egypt. I think she is such a beautiful woman. She reminds me of my aunt, actually. But, she is very level-headed. I think that she'll do a good job at hosting. So let's see what they talking about now, because now they're about to start talking about Martell and Mel's, relationship and how they be putting on the front. So let's do it. All right, so for right now, we're focusing on Mel and Martell. We talk about how, okay, here's the deal. I like Egypt, okay? Egypt has been married for a number of years, so she's, a married person, talking about marriage issues with married people, but she ain't no therapist. So I don't know. I feel like at a certain point she's like diagnosing their marital issues, and I hope that she doesn't really cross that line. But anyways, the first thing they talk about is how one of the things that Egypt did say that I thought was really interesting is that Martell seemed to be upset that Mel became the star by default because he doesn't like public speaking. And he was saying, I just want acknowledgement. I just want, for her to say, my husband, I want to thank him for being all that he is so I can be all I can be. And then, of course, in dramatic male fashion, she stands up and says, I want to thank my husband for being the man that he is, the cheating man that he, like, I thought it was going to get ugly, okay? I thought she was going to say, I want to thank him for being the cheating man that he is, cheating on me for 4 years in a row, all that kind of stuff. But, it came across as if she didn't necessarily mean it. It came across to me as that she was being facetious. So, but he said he'll take it. So I guess it don't matter what the intent was behind it. But anyways, Egypt brings up a rumor, right? So Egypt says that a popular blogger, and I'm under the impression that it's Funky Dineva, because I've been kind of paying attention to Funky Dineva's content when it comes to Love and Marriage Huntsville, because he kind of has the scoop and people tell him stuff and whatnot. And I'm under the impression that he's the person who alleged or claimed that someone told him that at some point while when Martell and Mel first started dating in college, that Martell was dating somebody else and Mel was a side chick. And so the whole point of that conversation was so that, the way you get them is the way you lose them kind of thing. So I'm pretty sure it's Funky Dineva, but correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, Mel recounts how they, got together, and she asked all her line sisters about Martell, and somebody gave her some intel on him, and he turned out to be a good guy. He was always calling, and she's like, I don't know how he could have been cheating on me, how I could have been a side chick because we spent so much time together. And I'm like, that sounds awfully familiar. Because she told us that while Martell was cheating on her, he was doing all the normal stuff that he normally would be doing, right? Like, to a certain extent, being with the kids, to helping to take care of the house, helping to take care of business. He stayed out a little late, sometimes claiming that he was going to the gym. So it's possible that he was cheating on her, but I think Mel wouldn't necessarily lie about it. So even if she was the side chick, it's possible that she didn't know. But she says that there's no truth to that rumor, and we just got to take it at face value, okay? She might be playing a Tisha and being ignorant, and being willfully ignorant about what Martell was doing back in the day. But that's okay. That's okay. That's history. So we'll see what they talk about next. All right, now we ain't gonna talk too much about this. They spend this whole next segment talking about how each of the guys is as a father. They show some clips. They talk about fatherhood, parenthood, all that jazz, how important it is to see fathers out here with their kids. They talk about, in a very diplomatic way, about how bad Marceau's attitude is about being a more involved father than one who goes to work. However, I don't know if this was image management, or whatnot, but Tisha claims that Marceau is getting better. Marceau claims that they are now trying to figure out this new phase of their relationship where the roles are not as defined or as antiquated, in my opinion. And I think that is mostly true. I think it's true that they're trying to figure out the new configuration of their relationship and their marriage now that Tisha is working. I think that's true. The part about him getting better at it, not so sure. But again, Marceau is like not even smart enough to realize that the more he helps out, the less that his mother-in-law has to be around. So maybe he kind of figured that out and is like, okay, maybe I do need to pick up the kids from school so that Miss Wanda can get out of my house. Okay. If he was smart enough, he would realize that. But Mel gave Martell credit for being a great father and for being involved. And Kimmy was saying how much she absolutely loved to see her husband fight to have Monster in his life. I guess she didn't talk about the negative externalities. So externalities is a is a term like a term from economics, and it basically means like the either fringe benefits or like the byproducts of you doing something. And so like a negative externality is kind of like pollution. Like if a new plant gets built, a new manufacturing plant gets built, one of the externalities or like the byproducts or side effects could be pollution, and externalities can be positive or negative. But in this case, him fighting for his son has some negative externalities regarding Kimmy, because she has to interface with Kaiwa a lot more. Her life gets impacted in ways that I don't think she was necessarily anticipating. It's a whole ordeal. So it was interesting how she didn't bring none of that up. But let's move on and see what they talk about next. All right, y'all. Now we're getting into the juicy details, as we usually do in reunion. So now we've switched gears to a problematic relationship. One of the more problematic relationships in this series. And it's Tisha and Mail, y'all. They just cannot seem to really get it together, unfortunately. And so we kind of dive into that. Now, one of the issues that pops up is one that we didn't even know about. Apparently, Tisha's kind of like subtitle to her new podcast, Mommy Business, is called The Blueprint. And if y'all remember, like they showed the clip, Mel told Tisha, I can help you get the blueprint to being a good mom and an entrepreneur at the same time, right? And so, unfortunately, blueprint doesn't have, a bunch of synonyms. So, Tisha decided to, put that in her subtitle. And Mel is upset because she didn't, Tisha didn't give her credit. What that sound like? Y'all, Egypt was right on point when she was like, oh, basically you out here talking about the same thing that that Martell talks to you about, right? You want credit the same way Martell wants credit, okay? And I think that's very interesting, and in certain situations that could be considered hypocritical. I understood what Mel was talking about the distinction, but it's not so much. I feel like her explanation of the distinction was not good enough. Like, I understood what she was talking about, but it still came off a little hypocritical to me for her to be so overwhelmed with being. It's a burden for her husband to want to her to acknowledge him more, and then when it comes to Tisha, who I think Mel thinks is beneath her, and who has the y'all, now that I think about it, Mel has a very similar attitude to her husband. Her husband was basically saying, hey, I made you, and if I hadn't pushed you to be who you are, you wouldn't be who you are today. And it sounds like Mel is trying to take the exact same credit for Tisha. Tisha didn't start changing her life around, wanted to stop being a stay-at-home mommy, wanting to do things to help further herself, get her real estate license, until Mel came into her life and they became friends. And so Tisha, her responses to that came off as if there was some truth to Mel inspiring her to change her life. And the problem that I have with the whole situation is that Mel is wanting credit so bad, and Mel is so kind of nasty about it, that she really doesn't allow Tisha to actually say, you know what, I was inspired by Mel. Because if Tisha didn't have as much pride, and if Mel wasn't so kind of nasty about it, she could have said, you know what, I did have female friends around me that helped inspire me to want to move forward as a career woman, and Mel was one of those people. And it's just so unfortunate that we're to the point now where we're getting into arguments over petty stuff. You helped to inspire me. Like, don't nothing take the wind out of somebody's sails than for you to confirm what they think they know and make them feel bad about it. You kill them with kindness, okay? And Tisha don't know how to do that, okay? So, anyways, they talked to Kimmy. Kimmy's like, I learned to stay out of it, is basically how her relationship with Mel got better. But I think Mel's explanation, again, I understood it. Basically, Kimmy and Tisha talked bad about her for posting on social media and going to galas and, doing this and that. And now Tisha out here doing the exact same thing. To be fair, I think Kimmy was the one that was talking about the posting. I do remember Tisha saying that Mel was the post queen and called her the post queen because of that specific post that she made about Marceau. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, I think that it's hypocritical for Mel to talk about how much it is to be, a burden to acknowledge her husband, and then for her to turn around and want so much acknowledgement from Tisha. That's a little hypocritical to me, y'all. But you all tell me what you all think. Yeah, tell me what you all think. Anyways, things are about to get even more heated, I suspect, because they definitely got to talk about. I feel like they're ramping up. Like they start with the safe stuff and they ramp up to the more intense questions, y'all. When I tell y'all I'm sick of Tisha and Mel, I'm sick of Tisha and Mel. The stuff that they talk about gets so nasty. In addition to Tisha being like a child. Like, they show the clip of that nasty conversation that they had, and Tisha doing a low blow, talking about, I have the receipts for your husband with that BMW. I think Tisha is telling the truth when she says that Mel sent her a picture of the girl with her BMW, saying that, well, Martell has a matching BMW with the girlfriend, right? Okay, I believe that. Okay. What else did they talk about? Y'all, it was just so nasty. I just like really did not care for it. Egypt, of course, put herself in that situation and was like, oh, it was like a knife in my chest when you said about the BMW thing. And Tisha did a poor job of explaining herself. It was one of those things when you go low, I go lower. And all she had to say was, she said something I didn't like, so I said something she wouldn't like. That's what happens when you get angry. It just happens like that sometimes. I think that's really what happened, though. Like, Mel said something that Tisha didn't like. Tisha said something worse that Mel didn't like, right? So, that's what happens in arguments. Like, just be real about it. I think that Martell saying, the horse's mouth is right here, why don't you ask me? And Tisha's like, I'm talking to your wife, I'm not talking to you. And I think that it's a very Southern thing for it to be like, oh, men don't get involved in women's business, because things kind of get amplified from there. Martell says that he has never bought anyone a car but his wife. I'm in disbelief. I feel like if you mess around with peasants, you have to give them gifts, like, so that they don't, so that they don't live in their peasantry. Okay. So, I am under the impression that he definitely bought that girl that car. And then Funky Dineva came up again without them saying his name. A popular blogger revealed, a picture of old girl. Can you confirm that this is the girl that he was sleeping around with? And for once, Tisha did the right thing. It ain't my place to do that. Why don't you ask him? Okay. And he's like, well, I ain't see the picture. Egypt said, I guess we'll never know. Everybody in Huntsville know, okay? I feel confident in saying it was probably her, okay? Because if it wasn't, we would have somebody whose mistaken identity would be out here talking about, that picture was of me and I ain't never messed around with Martell. We would have known about that. Somebody mistaken identity. If somebody mistook me for somebody's mistress on a national television show, I'd be all over social media telling my story. We ain't had nothing like that. That's probably her, okay? But their nastiness is just disgusting. Marceau, of course, he's like, my name's Bennett and I ain't in it. Okay, I don't know who buying what for who. Okay, that's it. Y'all, the relationship between Mel and Tisha almost disgusts me. Ugh. All right, Mel playing dumb now. Okay, so things are just getting nastier, and like in my spirit, it's getting very ugly. Okay, we want drama, but we don't want this type of nastiness. Okay. Y'all, it just keeps getting worse and worse. We hear Tisha say something about Mel trying to sleep with Marceau. We hear Martell basically saying that he's gonna do to Tisha what he did to Marceau and basically reveal receipts because she keeps digging and digging and talking about him and what he's doing. I think it's disgusting how Mel and Martell seem to be relishing in the fact that Tisha is, again, willfully ignorant. Can I help you? I think that it's disgusting how my dog is just so nosy. How Mel and Martell are relishing in the fact that this is kind of messing up the relationship of Tisha and Marceau. If Tisha just does not want to know, then let's keep it that way and let's keep it pushing. Okay, she didn't ask you to show her no receipts, so shut up about it. And I think Maurice, I have to think, Maurice, y'all, all their names start with Mar. Okay, Maurice had a point where all y'all doing right now is being destructive and not productive, because in addition to you all having, relationships between each other, you all are a representation of what it means to be couples, and for couples to have, other couple friends, and for you all to be doing this to each other right now, tearing each other down, going back and forth, is destructive. It's not good. It doesn't look good. It's not a good representation. It's terrible. And I don't understand why Mel is playing dumb like she don't know what Maurice is talking about. Maurice is saying y'all are being destructive right now. Y'all are doing something to their marriage that could destroy their marriage. Y'all are doing something that can mess up their marriage. Talking about this infidelity that Tisha doesn't know anything about, and that you all won't actually produce receipts for. So why are y'all talking if y'all not just gonna bring it out? Why are y'all whispering to each other and being disrespectful and, again, relishing? And this is like misery loves company. Mel is freaking miserable knowing that she is the wife of a man who cheated on her, embarrassed her on national television, and now she's trying to drag down Tisha and Marceau. And Martell is a part of it. It's disgusting. It is. I am disgusted, okay, by the fact that we have these educated, beautiful black people up here that can't get along to save their lives. They taking shots at each other. They taking shots at each other's marriages. They just, I don't get it. It's disgusting. I feel sad for all of them. Y'all, Kimmy and Maurice, y'all don't take a page out of their book. I know y'all just got married. Don't take a page out of their book, okay? I just don't get it. And for Mel to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. She looks good to me. You over here talking about her husband is cheating on her and that you can produce receipts. In what way is that not destructive of a marriage? Your marriage almost got destroyed for the same reason. Y'all, I can't. She talks about how Tisha throws a rock and hides her hand and plays victim, and Mel is really no different. Maybe that's why her and Tisha don't get along, because they basically the same. Y'all, I just realized there was multiple parts to this reunion. So, okay, anyways. Now things are starting to make sense. So, things get uglier. Basically. At the end of the day, Tisha gets upset because Marceau kind of doesn't seem to have her back. And the thing that she feels passionate about, which is defending their marriage and showing up, male, are not the same things that her husband feels passionate about. She feels like her husband's being nonchalant, being mean to her, not being supportive of her. Mel and Martell feel like if Tisha keeps running off at the mouth, we're going to reveal some stuff. I don't know that they have receipts, whatever. Moving on. They go their separate ways. They take a break or whatever. Maurice talks to Marceau, and Marceau's pep talk kind of made sense a little bit, but it still comes off to me as if he's covering his own butt. We need to stop agitating the Holts because they might actually have receipts. that will destroy our marriage. That's that sound like the underlying message of what he was trying to say. I think that if he was truly innocent, or that if we felt that he was truly innocent and had never cheated on his wife, it would be a different story and come off more genuine. Like, in saying that we're out here, we're yelling back and forth on the stage, we're coming off as these ghetto ass people when all of us are educated business people and all that jazz. That, you know, that statement was a little problematic, but whatever. You got to be a good example for your daughter. I think that if he genuinely was innocent, that would come across as a genuine kind of pep talk, and saying that I do think that Tisha is allowing the Holts to get a little bit under her skin, and I do think that Martell has a point about her not allowing them to get to her like that. But again, it comes off as if I'm not going to, stir anything up, because the moment I stir things up, receipts might come out and my whole life will be destroyed. And he can't say that to Tisha because it will be like an admission of guilt, right? So instead, he makes her feel guilty about not being a good example to her daughters, and about not showing that they're classy or educated and stuff like that. So anyways, Mel and Martell, something about them feels slimy. I mean, the way that they were talking about, if, Marceau ain't smart enough to tell his wife to stop running her mouth, I'm going to, pull out some receipts and all that stuff. And, when they think we divided, that's my impression of Mel. When they think we divided, they be trying to attack, but they need to know it's always Team Holt, even though I filed divorce papers the last time that they saw us on the TV show, right? Bo, move! Yeah, what is wrong? Stop. He'd like to be in the mix. Stop. But anyways, y'all, things are getting uglier, and it's almost the end of the episode, so we'll come back and see what happens next and where they leave off. Looks like Miss Wanda's coming up, y'all. We'll see. Oh snap, y'all, that was actually the end of part 1 of the reunion. Things got heated, but in a way that I really didn't care for. I think that Tisha and Mel's relationship is irreparable. And that they shouldn't even try to repair their relationship, and that they should figure out how to be cordial, and keep it pushing, keep it professional. Okay, I don't think it's ever going to be to the point where they're going to be good anymore, because Mel thinks that she's better than Tisha, and then Tisha, y'all, my dog is getting on my nerves, and then Tisha is like a child, essentially, and doesn't know how to take the high road. So I think that their friendship should be over, just personally. But we won't know what happened for the rest of the reunion for like another week. So thanks for watching this video. I will be back next week with my review on what I'm hoping is the final part of the reunion. So peace out, home slices.